Professor Crawford invited me here because not too long ago I sat in similar seats to yourself, and I faced a lot of hardship, and in that hardship I was able to come out successful. And so some of my story might be a little bit triggering to you all, so just kind of, trigger warning, because we might talk about some stuff that's really deep. But all in all, we're gonna get to it. We're gonna get real busy today. Okay. So my parents migrated from Nigeria in the 1980s here. I was a freshman in high school. My mom passed away, and then when I was a junior, my dad passed away. That kind of rocked me. Success isn't for me. Like life is just too much to handle. And so I had a lot of hardship just from them passing away. And I struggled with a lot of things. One of the hardships was I went through a period of homelessness. Another hardship was I struggled with, right? I'd be like binge drinking on weekends. Like, oh man, life is just so super hard. I kind of needed this escape. Kind of fast forward, I went to the military after high school because I was like, man, I don't know how I'm gonna pay for college. I don't even know if college is for me, right? My grades suffered. I was like a C student, constantly getting in trouble in high school. And if you, again, fast forward some more, by the grace of God, I was able to earn $87,000 worth of scholarships. But then on top of that, I was able to help my sisters graduate from college. Not only was I able to help them graduate from college, I was able to help 15 people go to college and then help them earn about $450,000 worth of scholarships and grants. So regardless of how hard your situation, there's always hope for the future. Things that you have to do that are mentally to help you become successful. And that's the thing. So in this course, they try to teach you a lot of those things in an academic sense. We're going to try to teach you some of those things in a very practical sense today. One thing that you really need to have in order to be successful is purpose. Starting point for our conversation then is, what is your purpose? And so if you look at the front of that sheet, that's one of the first points on that sheet is, what is my purpose? So go ahead and jot that down. Okay, I'll share mine. For me, especially having lost my parents, my purpose became my sister. Two younger sisters, they were in like first grade and third grade at the time we lost our mom, and then they went back to Nigeria with my dad, and that was their first time in Nigeria. It was my first time going after my mom passed. I came back to finish high school. So after I heard my dad pass, I'm like, man, I can't just leave my sisters out there. A lot of y'all, your purpose might deal with your family, right? Somebody that you care about, your mom, your dad, your girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, your wife, your significant other, your sibling. That might give you a sense of purpose. The thing is, out after your purpose or in line with your purpose, you usually have what's called your mission. Your mission is that thing that you're now driving toward, that's giving you some focus, that's giving you some clarity. And so for me, my purpose was my sisters, but the thing I started trying to drive toward, helping them set a foundation for success. My parents passed away. We went through what we went through as a family, but there's no reasons that my sisters should suffer and not have a foundation for success. My mission became helping them to establish a foundation. And so you're like, okay, maybe I'm doing stuff in my church or in my mosque or in my community, right? I'm aligning myself with something that's bigger than me. But what happens once you accomplish that mission? What happens? I start out saying, man, I want to take care of my sisters. I want to set them a foundation. And then I eventually do that. What are you going to do next? And oftentimes you're like, God, why did I ask you that? You're like, oh, you finished this semester? What are you going to do next? Well, I guess I'm going to do next semester. You graduated from Lone Star? What are you going to do next? And then we feel a lot of like pressure and confusion. So this is why having that personal vision is so key. So what I seen as I started to accomplish this, I see some things happening in my life. I see this change coming. It was New Year's, was Christmas time. I went to the mall. This is back when you could have stuff printed on a shirt at the mall. So I got my face printed, and I got the year of Festus, right, printed. And so that's what I wore on New Year's. I was like, yo, this is the year of Festus. And so it's like people are like, what is the year of Festus? I was like, yo, this is my year. I'm turning up this year. I'm gonna accomplish these things. I don't quite know how, but that's what I see happening. Certain things had to be in place in order for that to happen. And so that's value. So one of the things I started doing was I started working harder. I started working harder, right? So hard work became one of my values. So then determination became one of my values because, again, I was driven by the purpose of my sisters to set a foundation for them. So internally, I start seeing how that's going to come about. And then I started having values that align with my purpose, my mission, and my vision. One of the first things in the Ikigai is finding out what you love. So finding out what you love. And so the thing is, you have that thing that you love, that thing that drives you, that thing that motivates you. Okay? And then the next thing is finding out what the world needs. Okay? Then after that is what can you get paid for? Okay? And then finally, it's what are you good at? So the thing is, you might really love being a YouTuber, but are you good at being a YouTuber, right? Are you good at holding people's attention? Are you good at public speaking? Are you good at kind of drawing people in? Are you good at editing videos? So then the next question is, does the world need more YouTubers? Do they need YouTubers in that space that you're trying to get into? So then the final thing is, what can you get paid for? And so this is the thing. A lot of you guys haven't really looked at the statistics yet in regard to even something as simple as graduation. I want you to Google how many people actually graduate from Lone Star. What's the percentage that graduates from Lone Star? 12%. She looking like, what? That's a low number. So that means in a classroom about this size, 1, 2, you're gonna graduate. Everybody else, I don't know what's gonna happen with y'all. That's shocking, isn't it? And so this is why it's so significant and so important for you to hone in on what is your purpose, what is your passion, what is your mission, what is your vision, to kind of find that Ikigai. So we're gonna kind of transition to talk about what does it actually take in order to graduate. So what you actually need is credit hours. So a lot of people say, man, you just need a degree, you need a bachelor's, you need an associate's. But what it is you actually need 135 roughly credit hours to get that bachelor's. And so if you just focus on the credit hours that you're good at, just the ones that you're good at, is going to at least save you some time and some money. Did I just save anybody money? And so the thing is, you can talk to your professors. You can use resources like the library, okay, that are free to you, low cost to you, and study for the CLEP exam and only take what you're good at. Then you're not in this 12% or in the 49%. What you're actually trying to attain here. There's a reason I call this laddering your success. When you're here, what are you trying to get? An associate. Is there anything less than associate you could get here? There actually is. There's what's that? So you could actually get credentialed. Okay, you could get credentialed in something. We're gonna break that down in a second. So then once you leave here, you're usually trying to get your bachelor's. Don't knock my spelling. And then you're trying to get your master's. And then you're trying to get your PhD or your MD or different types of things like that. We talked a little bit about vision, values, and then kind of that mission, that thing that you're going after. Does somebody want to talk about like their career choice that you're going after? Bureau of Labor Statistics. By him going to an info session here at Lone Star, he's going to find out exactly what it takes to be to do law enforcement rather than just taking a whole bunch of unnecessary credit hours, because there's a lot of people, we already seen this, right, who take a lot of unnecessary credit hours because they haven't quite figured out what they want to do yet. And so they're not pursuing the information simply because they don't know where to start. And so you guys have extra sauce that a lot of students aren't getting, because now my man Jordan knows exactly where to start, right? And so when he's paying that tuition, he knows what he's going to get out of it, right? So one of the things I struggle with, and a lot of people struggle with, is how do you spend your time? How do you spend your energy? Who do you go to in order to find help when you're trying to kind of, again, move upward in this ladder towards success? And so the reason I call it laddering success is because oftentimes we don't really know the step-by-step ways of being successful. And so we created this methodology. Even with all the hardship I've gone through in life, you find a way to be creative, right? Because success is not outside of you, success is inside of you. And the more you go through challenges, the more you go through hardship, it draws out what is inside of you. And oftentimes it's like, okay, you're born a warrior, you're born this, you're born that, and they put you in those hard situations to draw out those things from you. And so a lot of you are faced with challenges and obstacles, personal challenges, financial challenges, and you're kind of really struggling to say, okay, how can I be successful? Don't let what's happening outside of you come into you. Take what your creative force that's in you and push it outside. But how do we do that? Number one, we have to have a base of support, which is our family and our friends. So Bing is your values, your character, and your principles. Your values, we talked about values already, are those things that you honor, you cherish, the things that you hold dear. Your principles are things that guide you, okay? They're maxims, they're sayings, they're things that keep you undergirded. So one of my principles that I came up with was don't knock what you don't know. And so often we like, hey, we didn't do no research, we didn't do no homework, we don't even know nobody in the school. Like, oh man, you know what? That's stupid because of whatever reason. So then we keep on moving up towards the success. We have to know our character. And in this case, I'm not just talking about moral character. What drives you, your why, your purpose for being. Even though you might be low energy, you might be an introvert, there's something still in you, drives you, that motivates you to your why. Your knowing is about knowing what resources are available and how to use them. And so we just went over that. We went over CLEP. We went over BLS.gov. Those things are resources. The more often you use those resources again and again and look at those resources again and again, the better you'll get at them. And so again, we don't want to be in that 88% that doesn't graduate or doesn't go on to do what they want to do, right? We want to be in the 12% that does. We want to be in the 50% that does. And the last thing is doing, executing with excellence. We don't focus on who we are. We don't focus on our friends and family and building strong relationships. So our ladder is inverted and it's weak. And then we try to focus on either what we're doing or what we know more than who we are. And the thing is, the character, the being aspect of who you are is what's going to drive you to be successful. And so if you know who you are, you're going to know what relationships to get into. Because between being and knowing, that's where relationships happen.